Asmakam tu vishishtaye Tani bodha dvijottama Nayaka mama sainyasya Sangyartham tan bravimite Asmakam tu vishishtaye Tani bodha dvijottama Nayaka mama sainyasya Sangyartham tan bravimite Asmakam tu vishishtaye Tani bodha dvijottama Nayaka mama sainyasya Sangyartham tan bravimite. Word by word meaning. Asmakam, our. Tu, but. Vishishta, especially powerful. Ye, who. Tan, them. Nibodha, just take note of. Be informed. Dvija Uttama, O best of Brahmanas. Nayaka, captains. Mama, my. Sanyasya, of the soldiers. Sangyartham, for information. Tan, them. Bravimi, I am speaking. Te, to you. Translation. But for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatrubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. So we'll read the translation once again. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. So this chapter is divided into several sections as per VT handbook. The first 13 verses are put under the section called Preparation for War. And in this chapter, first verse is Dhritarashtra's question, and then Sanjay begins to narrate. In the second verse, Duryodhana approaches Acharya Drona and he starts to speak. So next 4 verses, 3, 4, 5, 6, Duryodhana is speaking about the soldiers on the other side. So he sees that the Pandavas' military arrangement has been done very nicely, and he also names the formidable soldiers on Pandavas' side. So this is a duty of any leader, that they should, I mean, whether it's a business or a war, they should assess all situations. Like if somebody is going to make a business, Prabhupada says he should also see not just the bright side, but also see the dark side. What if profit does not come the way he has calculated? So Prabhupada says, upayam cha chintayat, apayam cha chintayat. So he should think of ways how his business will flourish. That, of course, anybody would try to calculate how much profit he wants to earn and how he would work for it. But he must also see something, if unfavorable happens, he's cheated, or there's some theft, burglary, or unforeseen acts, like now this corona period, suddenly everything was brought to standstill. So some exigencies have to be planned, and similarly for a leader in war also, he has to know not just his own strength but also the strength of opposing party. So he was counting, he looked at the army of Pandavas, and he was naming the soldiers there. So this is to alert the forces on his side that they be aware that who they are facing. So one thing is he wants to alert them, instill a fear in them, but this also does not mean that he wants to instill such a fear that they lose their confidence. So naturally, the job of a leader is like walking on a very thin edge razor blade. So he has to be careful to enthuse them with confidence as well, and not undermine their capability. Even they should feel confident about their own capabilities. So once he has spoken about Pandavas' armies, now he wants to speak about the brave, formidable armies on his side. He says that yes, there are great warriors on the other side, but even on our side we have great warriors, like they are given different titles: Maharatha, Atiratha. Maharatha means one who can fight with 10,000 enemies at a time, and Atiratha means unlimited, like grandfather Bhishma, Arjun, Karna. All these are Atirathas. They can fight with unlimited soldiers, and even when they were shooting arrows, it was like torrents of rain, and it was very difficult to counteract their arrows. And so not just the enemy side had formidable army soldiers, even on this side Duryodhana wanted them to, all the soldiers, to know that even we are powerful and we are going to win. So you should have confidence in yourself. And also, although he was speaking directly to Dronacharya, it was not just he who was hearing. There were soldiers surrounding him, and those who could, up to the distance where it could be heard, other people were also hearing. So it is to boost up their moral also, that he wants to count and bring to the notice of everyone, to boost their confidence and also make them feel that I am also confident about your capability. So he says we have many great warriors on our side. So, but I cannot be naming all of them, but I will talk about only the specially powerful ones. Asmakam tu vishishta, the especially powerful ones. Those who are very powerful, only those I'll name, because it is not possible to name all of them. And I'm speaking for you, to Drona he is saying, Tanni bodha dvijottama. So dvijottama, he calls Dronacharya as dvijottama. So dvija means we know Brahmana, and uttama means best. So best of Brahmanas. In one sense, Dronacharya was certainly a Brahmana because he was a teacher. That's the duty of a Brahmana. But he is not the best of Brahmanas. The best of Brahmana would be whom is one teacher who is giving spiritual wisdom. But Dronacharya was involved in giving the science, teaching military art to all the people there. So he is not the best of Brahmanas, but still Duryodhana addresses Dronacharya as Dvijottama just out of respect. So like when we say gentleman, it may not be necessarily mean that all the people in the assembly are gentlemen, or even if it is singular, whether the next person is really a honest person, gentle person or not, but sometimes out of respect we refer to them like that. So Dvijottama is being addressed, a respectful way of addressing Dronacharya, although he is not the best of Brahmanas. Actually, when Dronacharya is killed on 15th day, Yudhishthir is feeling very remorseful and sorry about it, that way he was killed in a heinous manner, and also Arjuna, because he was the teacher and respectable Brahmana also. And Bhima, out of his anger, of course, he says that Dronacharya is not even a Brahmana. It's not a duty of Brahmana to fight. And you see, this one is engaged in warfare, so there's you should not lament that you have killed a Brahmana. But under special circumstances, Brahmanas are allowed to fight. And of course, Dronacharya is a very special person. And so his position is special. But he may not be the best of Brahmanas, but Duryodhana addresses him like that out of respect. And then he says, Nayaka mama sanyasya. So on my side, I'll name the captains, because there are so many great soldiers, but I'll name only the captains. And sangyartham tan bravimite, I'll list them for you. So he is again repeating what he said. Tanni bodha, for your information, he said, and now again tan bravimite, sangyartham tan bravimite, I am going to list it out for you. So he is repeating. So repetition is sometimes necessary, not sometimes, I would say it's always necessary, but it means, it indicates emphasis. It can be called a subtle way of communicating the importance or the priorities, what he wants to say, what is in his mind. Duryodhana wants to convey that I have confidence in you, all of you, and you should also feel confident about yourselves. There should be some fear about the opposing parties, that they are great warriors, but we too have great warriors. And certainly we can see, as he'll name them, that on the Kauravas side also, there were certainly great warriors, as he's going to name them in the next verse, which we are going to read now. So this will not read 3 times, we'll just read once. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somdattis Tathaivacha. Word by word meaning. Bhavan, your good self. Bhishmaha, grandfather Bhishma. Cha, also. Karnaha, Karna. Cha, and. Kripa, Kripa. Cha, and Samintim Jayah, always victorious in battle. Ashwathama, Vikarnaha, Vikarna, Cha, as well as Somadatti, son of Somadatta, Tatha, as well as Eva, certainly, Cha, also. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Translation you can repeat after me. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Duryodhana mentions that exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana. Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadatti or Bhurishrava is the son of king of Bahalikas. Karna is the half brother of Arjun, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. So as Duryodhana is about to name the warriors, formidable warriors on his side, the captains on his side, he is in a dilemma because he thinks, whom should I name first? If he thinks in terms of military capability, Bhishma was most capable. He was the most powerful. That way, his name should have been first. But he thinks, but if I am standing right now in front of Dronacharya, and if I name Bhishma first, maybe Dronacharya's sentiments would be hurt, and even those who are hearing, more importantly for Dronacharya, most importantly actually for Dronacharya, to boost up his confidence, and especially like in the third verse he says Drupad Putrena, so he is reminding Dronacharya that you have been lenient to in training son of Drupad. So that way he incited his anger a little bit, but now he wants him to cool down and wants to seek all of everyone's, not just Dronacharya, but everyone's commitment and wholehearted. He wants them to fight wholeheartedly for this cause. So he addresses Bhima, Dronacharya first, and because he's a Brahmana, and he knew that if I address Dronacharya first, Bhishma is a Kshatriya, and not just a Kshatriya, but he's a devout, pious Kshatriya. So he would understand that I am addressing Drona first out of respect for his social order in the social hierarchy. Dronacharya is a Brahmana and more respectable. That's why I am naming him first. And Bhishma would understand this and wouldn't mind it. So he calls out first Drona, and in that also in English, like to say you, there's only one way to address the second person. But in Sanskrit there are different terms like tvam, we know. So he could have said Tvam, but Bhavan is a very respectful way of addressing, like in Hindi also we have Tu, Tum, Aap. So it's a very respectful way of saying. So he says Bhavan. So Bhavan means your good self. He just doesn't say you, your good self, he says. So Bhavan. And then Bhishma is certainly a great warrior who has the benediction that he cannot be killed until he wants to leave his body. So he's like the term Samitinjaya, always victorious, and could also mean like they are these are invincible. Same was about Kripa also. But after saying Dronacharya and Bhishma, next he calls out for Karna's. Third he names Karna. And as in terms of military prowess, it is appropriate because Karna is certainly a great warrior. And also in the war, first Bhishma is commander-in-chief. Actually that way also his name should have been taken first, but he addresses first Dronacharya and then Bhishma. But after Bhishma fell, next commander-in-chief will be Dronacharya. On the 10th day Bhishma fell, and then Dronacharya becomes commander-in-chief. And then on the 15th day when Dronacharya fell, Karna becomes the commander-in-chief. So in terms of military power, certainly Karna was strong and powerful. So he that way his name coming third is proper. But the significant part is that he was not in the battlefield at that moment. When Duryodhana is calling out the names of his especially powerful captains, Karna was not in the battlefield. What had happened is before the fight, all the Kauravas had assembled together, which is, I mean, not just one time, they would have assembled several times. And one time they assembled to assess the strength of both the parties. That's there on the Pandavas side as well as also assess their own strength. So at that time, Karna was saying that the Pandavas' army can be vanquished very easily within a matter of few days. Whereas both Bhishma and Dronacharya felt that Pandavas' army is quite strong, and it would take some time, maybe about a month, to win over them. But Karna was repeatedly saying, no, I can just do it within few days. So he was very overconfident. So that's why grandfather Bhishma, when Karna was speaking like that, grandfather Bhishma scoffs at him and he says, "Oh, son of a Suta, your strength is only in your words. If the war was to be won on the strength of the words, then indeed Duryodhana would have won the war. But in the battlefield, the words will not be helpful. They have to be translated in action. And you are saying that you can do it in few days, but you have seen in the past that Arjuna, how powerful he is. Whenever you have faced him, you have been tested. So it's only you are bubbling with energy, but your words would not be materialized when it comes to actual battlefield." Actually, Bhishma didn't have any ill will or malice towards Karna, but he wanted him not to be overconfident and not even to underestimate Pandava's strength. Because overconfidence or underestimating the opponent is not good for a warrior. So he intentionally brings him down, and to deflate his pride, he says, you were never stronger than Arjuna, and now that you have lost your kavach and kundal, you are more weak. You cannot think that you were never able to, you were no match to Arjuna in the past, and now you are far more weaker. So don't be talking big words, be realistic. And naturally, Karna was very angry. So then Karna says, then I'll not fight. As long as Bhishma is the commander-in-chief, I'll not fight. Because although we all may be fighting, and if even though I may defeat the army very quickly, Pandava's army very quickly, all the credit will go to commander-in-chief. Because that is how usually it happens, that like even in a match, when a match is won, usually they remember the captain. It was won under the captaincy of so and so, like that they remember. So they will remember the commander-in-chief, and the contribution of others will not be so much remembered. So he says, I'll not fight as long as Bhishma is commander-in-chief. So actually Karna was very dear friend of Duryodhana, and but at this point Karna also leaves the tent, that place he leaves in half, and but Duryodhana has to do some calculation in his mind. He knew that although Karna's pride has been hurt and he has left, but he was sure that Karna will never go against me. But if I stop Karna, and if grandfather Bhishma, who anyway loves Pandavas very much, if he leaves us, then our position will not be safe. But there is no question of Karna switching loyalty. He knew Karna is fully loyal to me, and as he has said that he will not fight until Bhishma is commander-in-chief, so I can still count on him that he will come back in due course. But if grandfather Bhishma leaves us, then our position will be very dangerous. It will not be safe. So even at taking some risk, he has to compromise. So he lets Karna go at this point, and that's why in these first 10 days until Bhishma is there, Karna doesn't even fight. He's not there in the war field. But because he is very dear to a dear friend, and he's a very powerful warrior too, Duryodhana counts him also and names him third in the list. And next is Kripa. Kripa is also the teacher, military teacher, and but he is also powerful, and he had a blessing. He like Bhishma, he had a blessing that he cannot be killed in a battle. So one time, like Yudhishthir was going to everyone, all the seniors, including those on the Pandava side, seeking their blessings. So he went to Kripacharya, and Kripacharya says, I cannot be killed, you go and win the battle. So it's kind of a puzzle, but what he meant is that he cannot be killed, but everyone also knew that Kripacharya doesn't have any very something like celestial weapons, so he is not a major threat. Although he cannot be killed, he will not be major obstacle in victory. That way, although he may stay alive, and he does stay alive, Kripacharya survived the war. At the end of the war also Kripacharya lived. So he cannot be killed in a battle, but still you can be winning. He blesses, but he says, I cannot be killed, so don't try to kill me. That way you'll be just wasting your time and energy. But you can still win. He blesses them as well. And so Samintinjaya comes up after Kripascha. All are here always victorious, I mean very formidable warriors, but especially Kripascha, it comes after that, and he's kind of, he has a blessing of kind of immortality, like he cannot be killed in a battle for sure. So he doesn't die also at the end of the battle. And next is Ashwathama, who is son of Dronacharya. He was certainly a very powerful warrior. And being son of Drona, naturally, Drona had taught him all the tactics very nicely. So he knew all the tactics of warfare, and he had given him some special training also, like how to use nānā-śastra, brahmastra. We know later he is going to use brahmastra for Parikshit Maharaj. Even Narayānastra, he's the one who tries to, in order to revenge his father's death, who was kind of killed in a cheating manner. So to avenge his death, he releases Narayānastra. And this Narayānastra had quality that if somebody tries to counteract it, his force will be doubled. So that way, whenever somebody would try to counteract, his force will be doubled. So there is no question that the other party can be winning. This astra was sure to kill the target where it has been sent for, or the purpose it has been sent for. But so Ashwathama wanted to kill all the Pandavas, and he releases Narayānastra. But Krishna, being on their side, he alerts Pandavas, and he tells them about the secret. So he tells them that don't try to counteract, or don't try to fight it. Just see that it doesn't touch you. Don't let it touch you. So you bow down out of respect like that. And so naturally it will not touch you. And so its power is also not doubled. And you are also safe. So this is the thing that Duryodhana was missing. Although Duryodhana's army had formidable warriors, what he was missing is that there was no Krishna on their side. Like at the end of Bhagavad-Gita, when we saw Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Their victory is guaranteed. Although by size, Kaurava's army was much bigger size than Pandava's army. But, and they too had very great warriors. But in spite of that, they were defeated because they didn't have Krishna's blessing. So next he names Vikarna. Actually, Vikarna is not such a great warrior, but this is also again very diplomatic, tactful speaking by Duryodhana. Duryodhana's very own dear brother, Dushashan, is actually, even Dushashan was far more strong and superior warrior in terms of military strength or knowing military martial arts. These tactics he knew far better than Vikarna. But why Duryodhana names Vikarna is Vikarna was the only one among the Kauravas who had protested when Draupadi was to be disrobed. So he wanted to have commitment from Vikarna, from everyone, and especially Vikarna, and he wants to make him feel good that you are being named among such great warriors, although he is not so great, but it will make him feel good and make him feel that yes, I must fight with great determination and commitment. And next is Somadatti, who is son of Somadatta. So Bhurishrava. So the king was also powerful, and his son is also very powerful. He was killed by Arjuna when he was trying to fight Satyaki. Arjuna shot arrow at him, also chop off his arm, and that's how he was killed. Otherwise, Somadatta was also extraordinary warrior. So all the personalities named here are certainly great warriors, and he names some of them. And then because his army's size was big, so he must have had many more warriors on his side whom he would like to name, but he cannot go on speaking, calling out their names. So whom he could not refer to in this verse can be included in Cha, and he'll speak about them in the next verse in general, about the rest of the soldiers. So we'll move on to next verse, verse 9. Anye bahavaḥ śūrā mad-arthe tyakta-jīvitāḥ nānā-śastra-praharaṇāḥ sarve yuddha-viśāradāḥ. Anye, others. Cha, also. Bahavaḥ, in great numbers. Śūrā, heroes. Mad-arthe, for my sake. Tyakta-jīvitāḥ, prepared to risk life. Nānā, many. Shastra, weapons. Praharaṇāḥ, equipped with. Sarve, all of them. Yuddha-viśāradāḥ, experienced in military science. There are many heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Purport. As far as others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kṛtavarmā and Śalya, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the Battle of Kurukṣetra for joining the party of sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of above mentioned combined strength of his friends. So now he named some of the captains on his side, and others he didn't name, but here Prabhupada names few of them. So so he calls them anye, means rest of you, all of you, the remaining soldiers, all of you are śūrā, you are valiant, and mad-arthe tyakta-jīvitāḥ. So in word by word translation also it says prepared to risk life for my sake, but actually he wants to say that is his intention, that he wanted to say that all of you are great heroes who are ready to lay down your lives for me. But here there's a mistake in tense. Instead of saying that in future tense, that who are ready to lay down their lives, he says you have given up, you have already given up your lives for me. Tyakta-jīvitāḥ means they are not, it doesn't actually word, literal meaning would be you have laid down your lives for me. So that's why Prabhupada is writing in the purport. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die. Actually not that Duryodhana was thinking that way, but it's just slip of his tongue that he says they have laid down their lives for me. He intends to say they are ready to lay down their lives for me. But this slip of tongue also may not be just by chance. Actually, nothing happens by chance. Like in the 11th chapter, we see Krishna is telling Arjuna that all the warriors on the other side have already been killed by me. So you just become an instrument of me and gain victory, and be prepared to fight and gain victory and fame. Maiva ete nihita purvameva. By me they have already been killed. Nimitta matra bhava shavya sachin. You've just become an instrument. So actually Duryodhana wasn't thinking exactly like that, but by slip of tongue he says that they have already laid down their lives for me. And all of them are very courageous. But it's not enough to be just courageous. One thing is to be courageous, not to be afraid of the opponents, but they also have to be qualified. So as a military men, they were also qualified. He says they are all of you are qualified in terms of using different weapons, nānā-śastra-praharaṇāḥ, like lances, swords, arrows. So different weapons are there, and all of you are trained in different using different weapons, and all of you are expert in fighting also. Sarve yuddha-viśāradāḥ. So in your fighting skills also you are well trained. So like when he was about the previous verse, like when he was telling Dronacharya, actually he in verse 7 he says, I am telling you. That way he need not have said that you are the greatest warrior. And also about the rest of them, because Dronacharya is one who has trained most of them, if not all of them. He was a military teacher, so whether on Pandava's side or Kaurava's side, most of them are trained by him, and he knew already. But this is to boost up their confidence and commitment. So here he's and also he wants to enthuse them with confidence, that I show you my confidence on you, and you are all great warriors. You are you know how to use different weapons, and you know also different tactics, how to fight in the battle. So all the qualities are there, and you are also committed. I know you are committed, and so I want you to fight wholeheartedly so that we win. That was his opinion, and that should be, of course, the confidence of any leader. Before the war, both the parties were thinking. Yudhishthir was confident of his victory, and Duryodhana is also thinking that we have a bigger size army, we have powerful warriors. So he was also feeling confident of his victory, which was right on his part, and as a leader of his army, which is necessary. So he names them, and those who could not name, he to ensure their commitment and to boost up their confidence, he refers to them in general in this verse, that all of you others who are standing here, my soldiers, who are on my side, although I have not named you, because I named just few of them who are very specially powerful, and I was naming only the captains, the big generals, but all of you are also important. And that's true about any teamwork. When a success or a failure of activity just does not depend on the leader. It depends on the contribution of each and every team member. If the team members were not contributing as they are expected to, or up to their capacity, even the best leader would not be able to achieve the desired result. So each team member is important, and to invigorate them with fighting spirit and reassuring their commitment, he speaks this verse. So these three verses he spoke about the soldiers on his side, and next he will go on to comparing the two armies, which will be covered tomorrow. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, it's welcome.
Bhishma and Dronacharya were devotees of the Lord, but why they took opposite side?
Yeah, because they were committed to fight from that side. Like Bhishma had taken a vow that I'll protect this dynasty. So he was committed to fight on their behalf. And similarly about Dronacharya also, although he loved Arjuna more, but they were committed to fight on behalf of Kauravas, because they were kings that time. So they have to fight from the side, whosoever is a ruling party, they had to fight, take their side. That's my understanding. If somebody has to add any point, or yes, Prabhu?
They were giving their side because they were maintained by them, by Kauravas were maintaining them, so that's why they were obliged to support them.
Yeah, Prabhupada also says like that, when Draupadi was being disrobed, that's why they didn't speak.
So
because they were...
Prabhupada said the food which you eat, that continuates you, because they were eating the food which were given by Kauravas, so they were continuated. That's why Prabhupada said that you shouldn't eat food outside prasadam.
I mean, actually, Bhishma's consciousness was never contaminated, but yeah, they were bound to be committed to that side, because even when he was about to die, and he always acknowledged, he knew that Pandavas would be victorious, Krishna is on their side, he knew Krishna's position, but they were bound.
Yeah, they were bound because of they were taking the food which they were offering them. They were obliged to do this thing. Prabhupada, listening to Prabhupada.
Yeah. Prabhupada says in one of the purport, and he also says is not just right because they were getting financial assistance and they were being maintained. It was not proper on their part to be on their side. So it's everything is by Krishna's arrangement, that they had to take that side, and he also wants to like glorify Bhishma at his deathbed. So there are several things to be achieved through Bhishma also.
And Krishna also advised Arjuna, because during the disrobe of Draupadi they were silent. So for that purpose they should be killed.
Yeah. That is about killing of Bhishma. Yeah, don't feel bad about killing Bhishma because they kept quiet that time. Yeah. Anybody else?
Drishtadyumna killed Dronacharya. Dronacharya was much stronger than he.
Bhishma.
Then Drishtadyumna. How Drishtadyumna?
Actually, that's what, like strength-wise, even sometimes Arjuna faced a situation where he's about to be killed, but Krishna is on their side. So Krishna will make a slight difference in the situation when, like even for killing Karna. Although Bhishma was trying to deflate Karna's overconfidence, because it's not good to have inflated opinion about oneself. But Karna is also certainly very powerful, and it's difficult to say who is more. But like even Draupadi's Swayamvar, if Karna was allowed, he might have been able to satisfy the condition. But Draupadi also didn't want Karna; she wanted Arjuna. That's why she stopped him, calling him as a Sutaputra. So similarly, in all circumstances, we see, like it said, Rakhe Hari Mare Ke Mare Hari Rakhe Ke. So if Krishna wants, he can make that slight difference, like actually anything, whether it's sports or battle or it's in a class, somebody has to be first and somebody has to, so that slight difference sometimes we call luck. So that luck is there where Krishna is there. So that slight difference which makes them victorious, of course not that nobody on Pandava's side died, but what makes the difference is that Krishna is on their side, and Krishna was achieving what he wanted to through different means. So some great warriors also had to lay down their lives, and it looked like how did it happen, but just for a moment, like Karna's chariot wheel broke. So something or else happened so that it gives the other party to kill them, take the opportunity and kill them. Is it? Yeah.
Small point about commitment.
Commitment.
I want to know about the commitment thing. Even if it seems wrong and it seems wrong, but still if we are committed to something, we have to stick to that. Like this.
No. Why should we?
Like here, like for example, like they all were committed, although it was wrong. So
yeah, but actually not that everyone thought they were wrong. Here, Prabhupada said Kṛtavarmā. Kṛtavarmā, in the beginning of war, Yudhishthira said, those who want to change sides, they can do now. So some came from that side to this side, and Kṛtavarmā is actually Yadava king. He should have been in this side, but he went to the other side. But Śalya was kind of not exactly cheated also, but in a way cheated, in the sense that when he had to travel a long distance and he came this side, and on the way there were nice arrangements for his rest, and he, wherever he stopped, the people there encouraged him to use the facilities there, and he was so pleased that he says, whosoever made all this arrangement, I am ready to fight for them. And then Duryodhana was waiting for the opportunity, and he says it was me. So actually he didn't know that, and he didn't want to fight on. So Śalya is one who went to other side, but they went by their words. So he kept his words. He didn't change that. No, I didn't mean if it is you, then even then I would go to the other side. They are not like that. And so, but some people didn't think that Duryodhana was wrong. Actually, always there are different kind of people. So some, like Karna, always thought, because he was insulted by Draupadi. And Mother Kunti also, she drowned him because he was born before her marriage. So in his heart of heart, he felt hurt. And that's why whenever there was an opportunity, he was always happy to take the other side against Pandava's side. So there are always people who would feel that Duryodhana is also a good person, and I must be with, or maybe like he has a bigger army, so there is more chance to win. So that's why also they might have taken. But some of them, like just now he questioned the robing of Draupadi, like Pandavas offering her in bed also is not a very proper act that way. Yeah. So, but it's like they were forced to do that. Duryodhana challenges them and says, why not now you have Draupadi, why not put her in stake? And they also do that. So at times people do commit mistake, and two is human after all. But of course, if we know wrong, if it is wrong, we should not remain committed to the wrong cause. We can change. We should change, yeah, if we know. Talking, talking wrong depends to whom you are talking. I mean, if they were to tell Duryodhana, Duryodhana wouldn't hear it. So they may not hear, but if you have an option to go the other side, and if you understand that, yeah, the other side is right, fighting for right cause, or they are right, why shouldn't you support them? being a party to as a support to the wrong side also, you become culprit. You are also part of the wrongdoing then. That if you support the wrongdoers, then you are also being an eye to the evil. You will also be evil, and you will incur sin. So if we should certainly take side of which we understand or which is virtuous, as far as our intelligence allows us to discriminate.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.